Hey everyone, this is Rushlock, and this is a breakdown of the latest episode of The Pulse, so without any further ado, let's get into it and check it out. So they're going for like a very heavy immersion, pretty consistent theme so far. This is around roughly the fourth Pulse video, maybe second or third. I don't remember the exact number, but they've been putting these up once a month as kind of like community news updates for people that are either very lightly touched on secondary platforms for their EVE contents. Maybe they only see in-game notifications and for whatever reason are subscribed to the YouTube and see his occasional videos.
Welcome back to Jita, another episode of The Pulse. You must be here for your regular dose of news in EVE Online. The fourth quadrant of 2021, New Dawn, is now live in EVE, with significant changes to mining and resources on the horizon. Over the last 2 years, there have been extensive updates to the distribution of resources in the universe, and equally extensive changes to how ships are manufactured. New Dawn will bring increased resources throughout the universe, big updates to mining, and a comprehensive rebalancing of EVE's mining ships. This big update to resources will double their availability across New Eden, meaning twice as much ore in asteroid belts and ore quantities doubled in all resource anomalies. In addition, ice quantities will double, as will certain gas quantities and extraction rates from moons. As well as the doubling of resources, a new mining waste mechanic will be introduced, creating a greater benefit to increasing mining skills and using more advanced modules that will increase yield.
This is pretty interesting. They've opened up with doubling, the ore being available on the fields, and then very strategically, and this is kind of where I want to do the breakdowns, is kind of like read between the lines a little bit. I like how they've worked in the we're making skill changes and module changes to add value to them. Typically in pieces like this, you don't want to present anything that can be quoted negatively. Like you don't want to say, hey, we're nerfing things. So we're buffing what's going on in the field, and we're not going to say that we're nerfing yields and introducing a waste mechanic in the concept of it destroying ore or nerfing your overall acquisition, but instead adding value. This is an interesting little marketing sales ploy I thought was interesting.
This will be accomplished through the addition of waste probability and a mining waste multiplier.
The addition of a waste mechanic and waste multiplier. I like how it's adding in waste. That's an interesting way to present it. Like, when I say interesting, I mean, sleight of hand. Like kind of way of pulling it off.
Resource hauling is a crucial profession in New Eden, from hauling goods between trade hubs to assisting in supply lines. By introducing new specialized holds for the Hoarder, Cryos, and Primate, it will provide more opportunities for the space truckers of New Eden.
This has been relatively overall well received. This is kind of a good example. I've spoken before about how there are good changes, good updates, and good elements of the patch that kind of get drowned out by all the knee-jerk screeching.
The update to industrial cores will result in an increase in support capabilities for the Rorqual, and a new compact industrial core is being introduced, which will be available for the Orca. The compact variation will require a new skill, compact industrial reconfiguration. These changes to industrial cores further reinforce the roles of both the Orca and the Rorqual in supporting mining fleets effectively. This update to the industry support capabilities of industrial command ships will also be achieved through increased bonuses for command modules for the Rorqual and Orca. As part of this huge update, mining and industrial ships will undergo a major balance update. An important component of this balance pass will be the changes to specialized resource holds. Specialized ore holds will soon only support asteroid and moon ore, and for gas and ice, dedicated specialized holds will be added.
So to me, something that's interesting is the way they lay this out. Keep in mind, this is meant as a promotional piece. This is meant to be attractive and enticing and interesting. Basically, a once-a-month ad rotation or ad schedule for putting out a new ad for the game. This isn't meant as like an update trailer. Like those big budget cinematics and enticing things like that. Just how do we best present information that's accurate and current, but with as much positive, smiles and positive spin as possible. What I found interesting is how they called it the rebalance, which is exactly what it is. You know, mining is getting a big rebalance update. And while this isn't the platform for it, a lot of the pushback and negativity with these changes in the last couple of weeks have been based around the idea there's been very little communication from CCP. They have a handful of times mentioned their intentions of, like, you know, basically removing viability for AFK Orca solo mining, and, you know, obviously removing the gathering potency of the Oracle, but it hasn't been done with enough frequency to really prepare people. And here, after the fact, on some platform, not one of these videos, but on some platform, I think CCP really needs to address, like, look, you know, this has been out of control for a long time, and this is our way of actually fixing a problem that we created. So you have to acknowledge that there was a problem, you have to take ownership of the problem, and then explain, you know, the change that's going out. And they've explained the change going out, right, mechanically, and even they're taking it back a little bit and doing some tuning to it and things like that. But they haven't explained the why they're doing things, and they haven't taken ownership of the problem. Part of that could be that, like, maybe different hands are at the wheel, and someone doesn't want to take that personal hit, nor do they want to be perceived as throwing someone else under the bus and say, hey, you know, this is a problem I inherited, you know, I'm fixing it now, kind of a thing. Wherever the case may be, I think there's still a missed opportunity for communication there, in terms of how they interact with the established player base.
Mining modules and drones will be overhauled, especially when it comes to yield and waste, and there will also be a new line of gas harvesting modules.
That overhauled on the drones is a nice little caveat as well. Like, by overhauled, we know made, you know, pretty much neutered, right?
Will be unique to mining barges and exhumers. To find out more about all of these updates, as well as changes to mining crystals and the introduction of new reprocessing skills, check out the detailed dev blog linked in the description and try them out now on the Singularity test server. Alongside these exciting changes to the economy, there are now 4 new challenging exploration sites in EVE, designed to reward the boldest capsuleers with capital and super capital construction components.
Now, this is interesting to me because I've had people in Twitch chat tell me they've had consistently like 6 millionist drops. They could be a lot of people giving me data on the lowest level, lowest tier, or most accessible version of these sites. So if you've been running them and you have a different experience, or whatever your experience may be, if you can, post in the comments down below, you know, hey, I've run this particular site and I've seen this particular loot drop. Estimated values is fine. If you want to give the item names, feel free to do so. But I'd always like to see more data points, because if I only hear from 2 or 3 people about their 2 or 3 times they've run a piece of content, it doesn't give me a lot of information. But if I hear from dozens or even 100 people giving me their experiences, and if they're consistent, that gives me more confidence in how to, like, pass that information on, if that makes any sense. So again, comment down below if you've run these new Explo sites and can give some input and some feedback on what loot you've seen, what your clear time was. I'm very curious about the time investment, the effort invested, and the reward obtained, because here in a moment they're going to talk about how lucrative or how you know, good loot drops from these things. It doesn't match up with what people have been telling me, but I don't have a lot of data points either.
Aegis capital ship security facilities are scattered throughout Losec, featuring a heavily guarded security vault, and the overmined nursery groves can be found throughout Pochven. Furthermore, Aegis secure transfer facility found in Losec and wormhole space require pilots to track down the transport ship ferrying VIPs in order to learn the location of EdenCon construction facilities, with an associated Aegis secure capital construction forge escalation site. You might have noticed that the sensory data you receive as a capsuleer...
So the next little bit's about ship sound being different, and then we're going to skip that part for you. But you can listen to the video, I'll link it down below the description. They basically go over all the different propulsion systems and new sounds for them.
Storytelling hub.
This new section here is going to be about lore, and how they've kind of centralized where to get all the lore for EVE Online, all the stories that have been posted over the years. It seems fine, especially as like a first initial, you know, stab at the project. I'm hoping if they have not done so already, they'll eventually put them in like a chronological order. Otherwise, it's just like a bin of stories for you to pull from.
EVE Universe has launched, replacing the fiction portal. EVE Universe offers an extensive repository of the
I like the Empire sorting. I like the lore at the top being sorted by, you know, background. But when we get to this section here, I see a year thing on the left-hand side, so I think they might actually be sorted by chronological order, which is really cool.
As for the stories themselves, you can expect richer narratives and plenty of intrigue as New Eden continues to flourish in the future.
A little nuance there is Inheritance is what he said was his personal favorite.
Knows what tales await. Alliance Tournament 17 rounded off its
the AT stuff, pretty straightforward. We'll see if I can skip ahead to the next. Here he talks about economic reports. Again, these are like separate news articles you can click through at your own convenience. I want to get you guys here to the end.
Black Friday and Cyber Monday approach.
Talking about sales coming up. So watch the last few seconds for that. Talking about some skins that are coming out, and that's pretty much it. One thing I liked about their formatting down below the video here is how they have everything timestamped. So again, I'll have this video linked in the description down below, and then you can use their video links to jump ahead to certain topics, like if you want to hear about their sales or the MER, things like that. You can do so. But yeah, that's the video. Again, a call out for anyone who wants to comment down below for their loot experiences on those new exploration sites. Definitely interested in hearing about that. If there are any other caveats or details about the video that you found interesting, let me know down below, and we'll use those comments to kind of focus which ones we focus our feedback on when we look at future episodes of The Pulse. But until next time, enjoy, stay safe, and we'll see you all next time.